to the cloud.
Hello, hello, and welcome to the European Healing Miracle Call. Today is the 20th of May, and we are welcoming you with so much love, and we are sending peace to your heart, peace to your mind, peace to every atom of your being. It's so lovely to see so many of you here. Welcome, welcome to Elio. Welcome, welcome to my dear Esther, or Essie. Welcome, welcome to Leela, and welcome, welcome to Robin. Welcome to my soul sister, Patricia. So lovely to see you today. And I can see Girdre is on the call. I'm so happy to see you. Girdre, I know that you've moved house now and you're settled, and it's lovely that you've got internet. So lovely to have you here. And welcome to Elena from Italy. Oh, so much love to you. Welcome, welcome to Barbara. Welcome to Cindy. Welcome to Chris. And Dr. Pooja is here. Wonderful, wonderful. Hello, welcome. And welcome to Clarice and Sue and Luke. I'm going to hand over to Cornelia now, who is going to lead the next part of this session.
Yeah, hello everyone. Also from my side, we are guests today from the immersion course. We are here guests on the European call because that was a very good time for Dr. Pooja to actually kind of continue a conversation we started last week. And
give me a pair of gloves.
We need to have Elio muted. Okay, good. And so we are here because she agreed that this would be a good time for her to answer some of the questions that might still be hanging in the air after the session we had on what is a good diet for different people, because as you probably all know by now, that diet is something that is really individual. There's no one size fits all diet. And we all have to look a little bit at our constitution, what kind of doshas are maybe dominant or even aggravated. And depending on that, that's how we choose our food and our intake. But they, of course, are general rules. And Dr. Pooja was talking about that on that call. I cannot even see her. Okay, Dr. Pooja.
Hello, hello.
Here we go. You are here. Be happy. Wonderful. Welcome.
Good to see you all. Thank you so much. Great being back with you.
Yeah, people are still coming in, so but I guess we can still start because I'm pretty sure that some people already have questions. Does anyone have questions or in general about food, even if you weren't on the call and you have questions about anything about diet related, then please ask your questions. Dr. Pooja is here to help us. Yeah, Esther, go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Pooja. Thank you.
Hello. So good to meet you.
I'm trying to find your visual here on the screen, but I don't see it yet. But it was such a joy to hear all that you had to share. I learned so much. Now I see you. I have a question. I've been taking a lot of mushroom supplements that because I had a health crisis way back about 20 years ago and learned about reishi, mushrooms, and a whole variety, and of a fan of Paul Stamets and all the work he's done. I'm wondering, I haven't seen mention in Ayurvedic of the healing properties and capacities. I was just wondering what you had to offer perspective on that, please.
I would love to answer you a lot about this topic, but I'm not a specialist of the Chinese mushrooms. I also tried a couple of, and I'm also a fan of a couple of, but I'm really not a specialist. I'm so sorry.
Do you have any idea why the Ayurvedic doesn't mention? Is it because it's not, the forests weren't there and it wasn't grown in the same way, so not part of the heritage? I'm just curious if you have any idea.
Truly, I don't know it. I mean, in general, I know because I spend a lot of time in India, they are all not so much about mushrooms.
Right, right. Okay, thank you.
Either food-wise and also not in the healing arts. I don't know why it is so much in the Chinese medicine, but I have really never digged into it. But it's a good question. So when you find out about it, I also want to know, please.
Okay.
But food-wise, you know what mushrooms are doing, right? But, I mean, it's just when you eat them and if you eat them in bigger amounts.
Well, I don't know. I've just taken it as a supplement, and I know someone who I really respected many years just said it really helps break down particular toxicities. And I just know many, many histories where, particularly with cancer, it's been hugely beneficial. You know, a lot of personal stories. Yeah.
Yeah. And also magic mushrooms, when they're in the clinical context, are also in some indications very powerful.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm really not a specialist in it. I'm so sorry.
No worries. You're a specialist in so much, and you bring so much. No worries.
But as we were just saying, Dr. Pooja, that do you know anything about, in general, the what happens when we eat mushrooms? Could you cover that? Because I haven't actually read anything really about mushrooms, and when it comes to Ayurveda.
Yeah. So if you see a mushroom, right? We were talking about the attributes. It's always very interesting to understand what we eat. So when you see a mushroom, let's take an ordinary mushroom, like a champignon. I don't know how you say it. So what would you say? What is the main dominant factor in it? How is a mushroom? Is it light? Is it heavy?
Light.
Is it dry? Is it humid? What would you say what it is?
Light and moist.
Yeah.
Lots of water in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kapha most likely,
Mm-hmm.
kapha quality, also earthy a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So means when it's warm outside and when we can. So right now here's a thunderstorm coming and finally some humidity. But usually when it's wet outside, do you feel like eating mushrooms a lot? No. No, it's interesting because we know. So this wouldn't be the right food for us when it's anyway a little bit of kapha atmosphere, or in spring. I'm not a big fan of mushrooms during springtime because it's so much kapha already in the outside. And then sometimes when we eat it, we feel that there comes the next day a little heaviness, for example, when we eat mushrooms in the night. But for example, we have also heavier mushrooms and lighter mushrooms. So if you eat some nice shiitake on a pho, when you cook a nice pho, then it's not bothering you really. But if you would eat now every day like big mushroom mountains and maybe also then baked with cheese, and then you feel heavy. No? And also on our mental level, it creates a little bit more rajas and tamas. It's not really a sattvic food. And I guess this is why Ayurveda is not so crazy about mushrooms. Because in Ayurveda, you always tend more to go to the sattvic food, which helps you to go towards moksha, towards salvation.
Okay, does that answer your question? It's just so we have some more. Sue, are you? Can you speak right now, or are you still eating? I saw you. Okay, totally okay.
That was unfortunate timing, but
Yeah.
yes, I had to
Enjoy your meal.
Thank you. I do have a couple of questions that came up after your wonderful talk. First of all, I want to thank you so much for the other day, and just how helpful, because I'm one of the people that just came back from India, and when coming back and your consciousness is much higher, and it's so helpful to have some details of how to think about it, not just what to do. What I find really helpful is how to think about it, just exactly what you were just doing. So thank you for that. I had some questions about nuts in general. Now, you mentioned some before, but I feel a bit of an overview of that and how to think about it would be quite helpful. And I know dates and figs and such things are suggested, but sometimes when I soak them, they become just nothing. They just become shreds. And yet I think we're supposed to soak them anyway. If you could talk about some of those dried fruits and nuts, that would be really helpful to me.
Yeah. Look, Dr. Naham always mentioned mostly 3 nuts to eat: almonds, walnuts, or pecans, of course, you can also have. And then very little, very, very, very little cashew, because they're very common in the Indian cuisine. So, and I would say instead of cashews, you can also take all the other nuts except peanuts, because they are not nuts, right?
Yeah.
So peanuts are very much pitta aggravating. And this is not, I mean, of course, as an exception, yes, but not as a regular food. But as a regular food, almonds and walnuts are really do a beautiful job. And when we don't soak them, they're a little bit vata increasing. So this is, you know, and then it dries also our gut system. And if you anyway have a lot of vata, then it's anyway more a dry condition inside. And when you then eat a lot of dry stuff like nuts or dried fruit, then it takes too much lubrication away. And this
That's for the soaking. Is the soaking so that they're not dry and taking away? Okay,
Yeah.
so
if you can buy the soft ones, here in Germany, we have also in vacuum, we have soft dry, they're also dry fruits, but they're soft.
Okay, now you're still talking about nuts? You mean soft almonds and soft cashew?
Dry fruits, they're soft.
Okay.
We have the dry ones and the soft ones. And if they're not soft, if they're really, really dry, it would be always good to soak them a bit.
I see. Okay. So figs can be kind of dry. If you soak them, they're fine. But dates just shred if you soak them. So they're already moist. Just what do you think about that?
Can you get the fresh dates?
These are fresh dates.
Yeah, then you don't have to soak them. It's just about the dried ones. No, fresh ones are beautiful. No, don't soak them.
Okay. And when the soaking, so I read something earlier about overnight, but sometimes I've just soaked them for a couple hours, and that seems also fine in warm water.
Yeah.
Is that true? Okay, so you would suggest soaking almonds and walnuts for the reason of not adding to vata.
Yeah.
Okay. And pistachios, are they in there somewhere?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Pistachios, they're really amazing for sleep. If you eat 10 before sleeping, you will have such a better sleep because they are really increasing melatonin.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. But so
really amazing.
Yes, but soaked
You
also.
just have to be, it should be, if possible, organic and only roasted, not salted. Because if you take the salted one before sleeping, then it will soak too much water out of the system. But if you have the pure roasted ones and really short, like half an hour before sleeping, and not too many, like 6 to 10 max, it really makes a nice sleep.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, and pecans, you would soak all of them at least a little bit, you would say?
Yeah.
Okay, because
I mean, if you get really fresh ones from the tree, then not.
Because I put them in the porridge, and sometimes I just throw them in to cook with it. Is that adequate, or would you soak them before doing that?
A little soaked is always better.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for. The way to think about it is to soak everything at least a bit before using.
I mean, you know, it also depends. Look, this is why you also said, you know, Ayurveda is a lot about observance. And I guess now in India, you have got a lot of insight about this. So, and this is why, you know, someday when I started to work with Ayurveda, and we Germans, we are very much about lists. So then people always wanted to have lists from me. And then for some time, I really stopped. I didn't give them anything, only the task to observe and to understand the qualities of the food, what they're eating, how do they feel inside, what is happening outside. So what do they need? Now that because otherwise we get dependent on, and then it's so much a thinking process. But what Ayurveda can help us is, like I said in the last call, to awaken this inner intelligence, which is so much more worth it. And of course, I mean, sometimes parents are coming to me and they say, yeah, my kids, they only want to eat chocolate and they know what is the best for them. Yeah, but this is stupid, because when our system is already in disbalance, the signals are not proper. So of course, we cannot listen to everything what we want to eat, but we can use our wisdom, and we can train our wisdom, and we can combine our intuition with also some understanding. And then it's a system that becomes super alive. You know, one of my spiritual mentors in India, she said a beautiful thing. For example, when you have books, but when you have scriptures, they are living beings, and they always will talk different to you. And for me, as Ayurveda, it's the same. It's a living system. It's not dead. It's dynamic. It's growing. It's corresponding with us.
Yes.
Teaching us again and again.
So basically, with nuts, soak them generally when you can, as much, for sure. And with dried fruits, have them soft, because some are very hard, and those need to be soaked for sure. And the other soft ones can be eaten. Is there an issue about the preparation of, I forget what they do to dry the fruits. I read something in the preparation to going to India, you couldn't have, what is that?
Sulfured?
Sorry?
Sulfured?
Yes, sulfur, thank you. Sulfur, is that a problem, or do you even attend to it? Some foods are dried with sulfur. And before we went to India, they said you could have dried fruits, but not if they were sulfured. So that meant that
when they're sulfur treated, they are toxic. It's toxic.
Okay.
Yeah. So you always should go for the organic ones.
Okay.
Because before you go to India, you do already a diet and you prepare your system to already release some toxins. And this is why it should be all organic, that we don't add more. You know, recently there was here in Germany, there was a guy, he made a test. He didn't believe in all this. He didn't believe in detox. So he was a little bit stubborn and he said, okay, I make a try. He made a blood test and then he ate for 10 days or 14 days, only really crappy food. Nothing organic, nothing, just what usually people eat. And after 2 weeks, he was so much full of toxins. This was really, he was so shocked, and even the doctor was shocked. And he wanted to prove what is possible just with food. So he didn't take any herbs or supplements. He only then ate 14 days, only organic food. And he released about 60% of the toxins again.
Oh, really? Wow.
So it's really not to underestimate that we really watch the ingredients lists.
Wow.
You know, especially with the preservatives. When I came for the first time to, here in Germany, also the organic food is much purer than at Whole Foods, for example. To find a good almond milk with not 15 things in the ingredient list is not so easy.
No. Okay. Yes. So basically organic, few ingredients, and don't underestimate the effect of food. I love that. That's really powerful. Because I know 1/6 of the program, the diet, but it's an important 1/6 is what I'm getting. Right. Thank you so much. That's great. I appreciate it.
Sue, thank you very much. Cici and then Lila.
Yes, thank you so much. First of all, I want to say thank you so much to everybody tonight. It's so good to see you. Dr. Pooja, thank you so much for being here. Let me just say, Sue, it's so good to see you. Oh, I left Sue in India. So, yes. Much love to you. I have a Guna related question. So there are a number of foods where Ayurveda is like, don't go there, mainly to do with your own development. And there is this thing about onion. There is garlic as well. Mushroom is part of it. I'm glad that has been answered. Thank you. And other types of food like eggs. You know, people tend to think eggs are okay to eat. But I want to understand from a Guna perspective, onion and garlic, what does that do to you?
Mm-hmm. Look, especially garlic, it increases your rajas. Rajas, the quality of rajas. And then in the next step, it increases the quality of tamas.
Okay, no, that's not good.
So, and of course not if you know, sometimes in some medical indications, we are given also onion and garlics. But then it's in a very special, specific condition. But, and, you know, for you know, this was always beautiful. For example, when one of the young doctors were together with Dr. Naram, we were always then sitting in the night having dinner together, and they would ask so many questions. So one doctor from Switzerland was once asking him, so how is it as a doctor? Can I eat meat or do I have to become a vegetarian? And then Dr. Naram gave a beautiful answer. He said, you know, if you want to be a doctor, you can eat meat, but if you want to be a healer, you can never.
Wow. Yeah.
And I would say it's the same, you know, every one of us has to make their own decisions. Of course, when Dr. Naram started teaching us the pulse, it was clear no one of us can drink alcohol, eat meat. I mean, you have to give all these commitments, otherwise you cannot be a healer in this lineage.
Wow.
But for example, with onion and garlic, so if you want to go deeper into meditation and if you really want to explore deeper, then it's good to avoid everything that makes too much rajas and tamas.
Okay.
Or at least limit it and, you know, boost more the things who are giving sattva to your system.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, I know somehow it has to be, you know, somehow not good, especially as you said for tava and increasing raja as well. Yeah, I was just wondering, how does that affect those?
But you know, it's already very subtle. So for example, if people, you see it many times nowadays with youth who eat a lot of junk food or who don't get proper food, and then they're the whole day in front of digital devices and playing video games, their tamas is very high. So if they eat onions and garlic, it just doesn't matter. And for most of the people, they will not realize the difference. This is really just in the very, if you go more in the subtle space and you really want to discover it,
wow,
then this will become relevant. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Very welcome. Beautiful that you think about all the things. It's amazing because, you know, also, for example, but you can also use it in a very practical way. For example, when you feel that you know that the shrotas, all these little channels of life energy, they feel already a little bit blocked. Sometimes we have such days. So then it might good not to increase it even more. And then to take more light opening food. No? So that we really learn how to use our diet, how to use food as a medicine more and more to make it an instrument. But as we said in the last call, when we go to someone and he cooked or she with so much love and there are onions and garlic inside, and then we say, no, I don't eat it. This can also make a lot of harm because on a karmic sense, you know, if we didn't tell the people before and they didn't know and they really gave their best, and then this rejection of us can cause some pain in them, and then we have to carry this also with us, which is also not good input on our health and our system. So it's always to find a balance. No? Ayurveda is always about balance.
Thank you
so much.
Yeah, we have Leela now. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yes, thank you.
Audrey, yeah.
Happy to be here. I have kind of a basic foundational question. I'm still new to this, and I'm missing some of the foundational pieces that help this all make sense. So we were given a dosha balance sheet, and it says, you know, mark 3 if this sounds like you, and mark 2 if it sometimes sounds like you, and 1 if it, you know, never or seldomly. And so you total up these numbers in the 3 areas of vata, pitta, and kapha. And I don't know what to do with that. They're just numbers, you know. I don't know. Okay, what is the goal of that? Am I supposed to stay within a certain number? Are they supposed to be close to the same? So they're all 3. Does that tell me what I am? Does it tell me when I'm high? So then you add the element of, okay, well, we can look at emotions, and I can kind of tell, okay, am I feeling sad today? Am I feeling, you know, a little irritated? Am I feeling really heavy? So in that respect, I can kind of see, but does that mean I eat less of that group of food? Am I eating more of something? Am I too high, too low? So I really don't understand.
Yeah, you know what is really amazing about nowadays in the modern medicine, we call it personalized functional medicine,
Yes.
what Ayurveda does since thousands of years. So it gives us really personalized explanations. And I'm totally with you. These tests are super confusing, and mostly people get a totally wrong impression when they make this test, because we have a specific perception of ourselves, and then we want to bring us in this and that. And so, but what is actually meant by vata, pitta, kapha? These are bioenergies, and every one of us has their own mixture. We have an individual mixture of them. And the more we adjust to our natural alignment, the better we are. The more energy we have, the more balanced we feel, the more clear we are. And then, so it's a beautiful system to explain and also to set us in context with the seasons, with some circumstances, with age, with gender, all different matters. It all has an influence on our bioenergies, vata, pitta, and kapha. And but mostly what we realize, what we then see in the tests, of course, we can see this constitution, and then we can see how vata mostly looks in pitta and kapha. But then it's also mostly we are mixed types. So many of us are vata pitta or pitta vata. But you know, then so often people are coming, especially women are coming to me, and they say, I'm kapha. But it's because in this test, what is always missing is a combination of vata and toxins, which looks exactly like kapha, but it's not kapha. And if you would eat then according to kapha, it's not really the proper direction to go. So what we do, for example, when we are seeing the pulse, we look at what is precisely in this balance right now. Because one thing is my constitution, but so many of us are really, when they're living their day-to-day life, it's not so important what their constitution is. It's even more important what is out of balance and what can I bring again into alignments. And this is why the system is so beautiful to understand it a little bit. And I like it more personally. Dr. Naam always taught us about the qualities of vata, of pitta, and of kapha, and to understand more what it is. So what it is in the body, what it is in the mind, what it is in food, what it is in weather, what it is at places, what it is in actions. Not that you make it really alive.
Okay, so you look at kind of imbalances that you're experiencing physically, emotionally, and then look at reducing those in your diet. Okay.
With diet, with herbs, exactly. Because it's that when we are what we really are, no? Also in our bioenergy mixture, then we are healthy, then we feel good. We are powerful.
Okay. That makes more sense, because I had an Ayush Shakti consult and I was just given a list of reduce these, add more of these. So it didn't really give me like a foundational understanding, so I could go to a cookbook and say, well, okay, I can pick some things from a Vata diet or a Pitta diet, but then if you have excess, then you don't want to follow that particular diet. So that was really helpful.
Yeah, and you look now, for example, I don't know how the weather is now for you. Now here, the last days were really hot. And then
Here
you want to take naturally more pitta reducing things. Also like something like watermelon or things like this, or coconut water. So there we can see naturally, if you would see lists, you would find such things in the list of pitta reducing. Or in winter, of course, we like more warm soups or stuff. No? And I would, even when you see now lists or tests, try to see it more with a kind of understanding.
Okay.
So try to understand what is Vata, what is Pitta, what is Kapha. I think there is enough material, Cornelia, right? In the recordings and everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to say, Audrey, also, if you come to the Wednesday calls, the 100 days, that's what I'm actually covering all the time. That we're really going, I go even deeper, and I'm not talking necessarily only about the doshas. I'm going down to the elements, because once you understand the elements and the qualities of the elements, then you also understand the doshas and the quality of a dosha when you get from there. And then whenever you have a certain quality that is in excess in your body, then you know which one is you have to kind of use now in order to bring it down. That's how I try to kind of condense it in a way that it's easier to, as you just were saying before, you don't have to learn it, you understand it. And then it's more from that knowledge that you can make a decision instead of, oh, I have to have a list.
Yeah, super, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, because if you work with all these lists, you get so stressed out by diet. I mean, this is horrible. Sometimes people came, they were so stressed. Or then they stop Ayurveda because they say, I cannot handle all these lists.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the things were inaccessible in the US. You know, a lot of the things are not things we see in our store. So yeah, the herbs, some of the spices, they're all special order. And I don't know what some of these vegetables are either. So it's a process of discovery, and it's going to take some time.
Yeah. And many years back, I made a lot of cooking classes for the people here that they can see. They can also cook Ayurvedic principles in the Italian cuisine, or in the French cuisine, or in the German cuisine. So we started to change our favorite food and to make it in an Ayurvedic way. And, I think this is more handleable for us, because also when I started with Ayurveda 20 years ago, my husband got a super crisis because he didn't want to eat all the time mung soup or Indian food. So I had to understand how to do it differently, that he likes it too. No?
Okay, thank you. I'll start coming to the Wednesdays as well. Thank you.
Did you have a cookbook what the cooking classes from the cooking classes you had?
I just made by myself some scripts, but they are all in German. But I think the cookbook you are having now, which Carol did, I think it's amazing. There are so many beautiful recipes inside.
That's true.
Yeah. And you can also do so much with dips and with. I'm a big fan to adapt dips and sauces to the food, because I mean, many times we have like the same ingredients as the foundation, but then we add different layers on it, and then you can make beautiful creations out of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Luke, I saw you have a question, but I have here one in the chat, and it's from Patricia, and she asks, I'm new to this lovely community. I grew up in East Africa, Kenya, eating pineapples and lime lemons and lots of many delicious fruits. I recently completed the Healthy Me Detox 28 days at the end of April. Pineapples and lime lemon were not on the detox list or post-detox list. Please shed some light on this.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, of course, if it's in our traditional foods, first of all, I have to admit, I don't know how it's in Kenya, but I guess it's similar to India. The pineapples there are super sweet and really delicious, and has nothing to do with pineapple in Germany, which is mostly very sour and hard and not really delicious. So, but to have them on a daily basis will create in many people a lot of pitta. And if you eat pineapple in a warm condition, it can also balance, but until a specific level, it can balance your pitta because of sweetness, but it will also bring your system by the time out of balance again. And especially if you eat it here a lot in other climates, then you will also increase vata through it. And then we have also the problem with pineapple has also a lot of enzymes, but still here, I don't know how it is in America. I guess there's even worse with all the topic of diabetes, that people are going more and more into diabetes. And also it said now Alzheimer is the diabetes 3. So we have to be, I guess, much more aware of what we take. So, and usually, you won't have the whole year all these fruits. And that it's possible now in our countries that we have it, I don't know, it's in Kenya, if you can have a whole year pineapple, but usually these are seasons. And if you eat then in a season, or now in India it's just now mango season, so we get every day pictures from the holy mango and they're all super happy. And I believe if you eat it just in the season, this 1 or 2 months, it won't harm your system, because then you just put all this sugar inside and your body can then digest it after. But if we do it continuously, what was never meant to be, then we get all these problems. And if we take it in amounts which are not really suitable for us. So to come back, in the detox process, you won't find a lot of fruits. There might be papaya, but then it's almost done. So, and there's a reason, because we don't want to have acidity. We don't have to have too much sugar. And because the system is in a specific condition. And for this, it needs specific food. So, but when the after diet phase is completed, then of course, according to your tradition, so I would always look what the grandparents did, because they were closer to the tradition than we are today. Then of course you can have also your pineapple from time to time.
Okay.
Is she here, Nena?
I think she is here. Patricia, are you here? Does it answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Yes, I now live in Toronto, so I've been buying a lot of pineapples from Del Monte, the canned ones or the fresh ones. But I'm so sad I have to give that up, because I really love pineapples. And
it's so sweet, you're folding your hands. Please don't take away my pineapples.
Yes, and the lime. I love the lime. I love squeezing the lime in warm water. I grew up with that. I grew up being told it's good. And now I come to this point, I'm like, oh my goodness, so many things I have to say goodbye to. And I don't understand it, because I'm still new, and I'm coming from from a general perspective right now. I haven't taken any studies in this area.
And look, like you said, now you're living in Canada, it's a totally different surrounding. And it's always good to a little adapt. You can have your special pineapple days and you can celebrate them and you can feel home and all this, but otherwise, and with lime, it's always, Dr. Smita once explained us, when our Agni, the digestive fire, is good, then lime is alkaline, makes an alkaline environment in us. Because in the Western world, we always say that lemon and lime is alkaline. No? Yeah. But when our Agni is not good, then it creates acidity. This is why we cannot say it's good or bad. It really depends on your condition. And after detox, because also in the healthy meal, you do also a little virichan, a little flush out of the toxins. So after the acne is a little low and needs to get rebuilded again. And this is why you need very soft, very gentle, very comforting food, that this acne, this little digestive fire, can grow again. And when it's strong, then you can have your pineapple and you can have your lemon, but in balance.
Thank you so much. I will take care of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. We have a few more questions. We are already 45 minutes nearly in the call. So Luke next, and then Cici.
Okay, thank you. So Dr. Pooja, I like what you said before about pistachios, and I love pistachios, and I'm going to start doing that before bed. But what I was not clear on, do we have to soak those, or can we just eat them raw?
I mean, you can do it really, really, really proper and soak them. I have to admit, I take them mostly roasted, but it's not really proper. It will then create a little bit vata.
Soak them for how long? For how long?
Not so long, because they're mostly anyway a little bit more lubricated, right? Pistachios are not so dry, like for example, almonds, or at least here. When I get them, they're mostly more fresh. Then you don't need to soak them too long, for 2-3 hours, it's okay.
But definitely unsalted, right?
Unsalted, yeah. This is super important, yeah.
The other question, somebody even mentioned in the chat now about eggs. So I love eggs, and I have eggs almost every morning, but really healthy, stir-fried with all kinds of great veggies like spinach and avocado and so on. But I've recently switched to just egg whites, because from my understanding, egg yolk is more acidic and also can have adverse effects with thyroid. So I'm just having egg white scrambles mixed with stir-fried veggies. So that's pretty okay, isn't it?
Yeah. And how do you feel after your breakfast?
Energetic? I feel just fine. I've never had an issue. I have a very, very good acne, so I have no digestive issues or anything like that. But I do feel, I do notice if I eat certain foods that are heavy, I feel heavy. Or here's an interesting thing I meant to mention to you. Even if here's an example. Not long ago, for lunch, I usually have mung bean soup every day for lunch, 4 or 5 days a week. You talked once about overeating and how that makes you feel. And I know that because I love food, and I've had a tendency in the past to overeat. I know how bad it makes me feel afterwards. But even if you eat really good food like mung bean soup, if you eat too much, and I did that one day, I was so hungry, I had a second helping, and it was delicious going down. But within the next half hour, I felt so uncomfortable and heavy and lethargic. So even with good food, I feel if you overeat, it's not good for your body.
Yeah, exactly. And it's exactly very true. And sometimes, I have patients and they say, man, I'm eating so healthy, only the healthy stuff. But when you then ask for the amounts, it's just too much. And it said, usually our hands is a good measurement, the size of our hands. It's like a bowl. And it's always said it should be only filled to 60-70%. That the rest can also, that there is some space to work. Then we stay light. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And is it that you eat the eggs every day because you like them so much, or do you think they are somehow beneficial for you?
No, I absolutely love eggs. It's my favorite. But then 2 or 3 days a week, I make a delicious breakfast smoothie. Super. With organic vegetable protein powder that has superfood in it, with water and avocado and almond butter and cut up apple. And I just had one a little while ago this morning. So a couple of days a week, I have that as breakfast. But on the other days, I do have an egg scramble stir-fried with healthy veggies. And I do it because I love eggs.
Okay, super.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Cici, and then I don't know, Dr. Pooja, what your time is.
Yes,
Maybe still 1 or
slowly,
2.
not that we are ending.
Yeah, because I don't want to.
Okay, my question is going to be really quick. Dr. Pooja, this dairy product called Molka.
Molke?
Yeah.
Whey, like whey?
I think it's from milk. It's dairy. What I believe is it goes through a process. It's milk and then it's processed. But this milk I'm talking about, apparently it's very heat-up pacifying. And it was given to me a couple of times when I was in India. So it cools, well, it's not particularly pacifying to say, but it cools aggravated Peter. Now I'm a high Peter with capital H.
So is my connection bad? I cannot hear it properly.
I think it's Cece's connection that is bad.
I cannot understand it properly.
Can you put the questions in the chat, maybe, Cece, and write it?
Super. And maybe someone else can ask it already.
Mina, then it's your turn. And
thank
then,
you, everyone.
Oh, sorry, that was my mistake.
That's okay. Thank you, Dr. Pooja, Cornelia, and everyone.
Hello.
Hi. My question is, when we do moong soup, okay, I'm a person who's used to a lot of hot, spicy food, being from India, South India. So and when I start using this moong soup, when I start eating this, it happens like, again, if I have to eat even little spice, not even, real spice, but just little spice, my tongue seems to like get sharp. Why is it? Is it normal, or what is it saying?
You mean since you now, before you could eat the spicy food, and now since you eat a lot of moong soup, you cannot eat it any longer?
It's not even like a lot of moong soup. It's like barely. I eat moong. When I started eating moong soup, like 2-3 days, and 4th day I just tasted something while I was cooking, and it was like, so spicy.
Wow.
So what does it indicate?
I mean, it could indicate a couple of things, but it could be that you now more realize that it might be before too spicy for you. Because from your what I see now from your your prakriti is you shouldn't have too much spices. It would be better for you when it's not too spicy. And then when you use more green chili and not red chili, would be also very good.
Okay.
And follow the signs now, because mung beans are super intelligent. They have the capacity to awaken this inner intelligence system in us, and we can really then understand better what is good for us and what is not good for us.
So that is the indication. Yeah, please go on.
And if you really want to eat still spicy, then add some coconut milk. No, you don't want to eat.
No, I feel it's more acidic now. But just eating 2-3 days of moong soup, how can it make such difference that you feel it's so sharp? So yeah, I didn't know.
What would you say, Cornelia?
I have to say I didn't even pay attention at the moment because I was reading Cece's question here to know.
Okay,
to ask you. Sorry.
I think you should really continue and just explore what now your body is telling you. And it's
not just my experience. I referred this moong soup to somebody else, and they had very similar experience.
Interesting.
Yeah. My question
is good or not good?
It's good. In one sense, it's good, but in other sense, it makes people feel like, am I losing my ability to taste food or eat food? Am I becoming more sensitive to food?
Yeah, more sensitive, definitely in form of your taste gets more alert. So you can taste much more range, because if you only eat spicy, for example, I love spicy. I love just this sensation in my mouth. But honestly, when you eat a lot, when it's very spicy, you don't have the other tastes properly. But if you start now to cultivate all tastes more, then you don't want to have only one spice predominant, one taste predominant. Then it goes more into the balanced area.
All right.
Actually, you're gaining, you're not losing, you're gaining a lot of variety.
So we are not losing our ability to eat food, or the Agni diminishing or anything.
No, it gets stronger when you detoxify, it gets proper.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mina. So we are nearly on the top of the hour. So I leave it up to you, Dr. Pooja. If you still have questions, you can also put them really in the chat. And then we will definitely make sure they get answered at some point, and we will send them out.
How many questions do we have?
I have definitely the one from Cici, and that goes into, she said, is Molke good as a dairy product? It was given to me a few times when I was in India because it's cooling. I'm a high pitta with a capital H. It's dairy. Can I take it? And then I have another question that goes in the same kind of, please could you shed light on yogurt, kefir, buttermilk?
Yeah, maybe because it's for many, I guess, interesting. For example, in India, what they do, they make chas. So they squill yogurt with water, and then it has a different effect in the system. And if you add then cumin and coriander to it, then it gets more this cooling effect. But if you eat yogurt, dairy, just in a pure form, it feels cooling, but it's heating your system. It's increasing pitta. But molke, it's only the, you take the proteins out, right? It's just the watery, and it still has some proteins, but it's very light. For many people, it's a good thing to have molke. So if your body adjusts to it in a good way, I would take it, not daily, but from time to time, you can use it as cooling factor. Or coconut water is super nice for cooling pitta. If you don't want to have dairy.
So we have now 2 more questions, and then that's really, so we have Barbara and then Chris. And unfortunately, I do have to leave in a couple of minutes because I need to go on another call, but Miriam or Cici can take over and do the rest of the call.
Yes.
Barbara next, and then Chris.
Hi, Dr. Pooja.
Hello,
everybody. I'm happy to be here, and I have a question that I'm a little bit ashamed to ask, but I really want to know the answer. I'm crazy about sweets, and most of all chocolates, and I can eat it all day, even though I also eat mung soup daily as a main course. And as long as I don't see the sweets, then it's pretty okay. But when I see it, I cannot stop taking it and eating it. Is there maybe something that I can do or that I can eat to make me dislike those things?
Yeah, I understand you. And you know, you're not alone. There's so many people who really love chocolate, and don't be ashamed. Thank you so much for your openness. And it's really, it's wonderful that you're opening up.
Is there something? There must be something.
Yeah. Look, the chocolate is not the problem. The sugar and the chocolate is a problem. Because have you ever had a coconut bean in your, not coconut, a cacao bean in your hands?
Yes, and that's the reason why I tell myself chocolate is not so difficult, because it's a bean.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a chocolate, it's a bean.
I had once a very big one in my hands, and they're such, I mean, they give such love. They're so sweet. They're really full of giving sweetness. So cacao is not the problem. Cacao is one of the best superfoods we have. The problem is what they're making out of the cacao, and they're adding this white sugar, and they don't let the cacao what the cacao is. So what I usually do with people who really love cacao, but chocolate has different aspects. It has also this creamy stuff. So I think it's always difficult to get out of it completely. I think it's better to substitute it in the beginning. And I had very good experiences that you do a nice hot chocolate and you get a really good raw cacao.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got it from Peru.
Super, very good. And then you get cocoa blossom sugar.
Cocoa blossom sugar. Is that jaggery?
No, it's called. Do you have it in America? No, cocoa blossom sugar.
No, I'm in Holland.
Ach, you're in Holland. Yeah, there you have it for sure. Kokosblütenzucker.
Coconut sugar.
Yeah, it's cocoa blossom from the blossoms of the coconut, the sugar. It's a very dark sugar. It's really good. You have it. I'm quite sure you have it. Yeah. So or another really good sugar, healthy sugar, or shakara, and a really good sugar. And then you mix your raw cacao powder and you put vanilla powder also inside.
Okay.
Because vanilla is emotionally very satisfying. And then you make yourself a nice hot chocolate with oat milk or almond milk. Oat milk, which is, the best would be an oat milk which makes foam, that it's creamy. So you make a nice, hot, foamy hot chocolate. And then you enjoy it. And you can even have it 2 times a day because it's better than eating the chocolate. And if you really need to eat chocolate, then you get one from the organic store, which is really high in cacao and low in sugar and has only raw sugar. No more white sugar, because, you know, white sugar makes you more addictive than cocaine. It's 8 times more addictive. So it's really an addiction. It's not just I like it, it's an addiction. So you cannot have white sugar.
So is there a marma to get off that addiction?
There are also mamas, but I would suggest you for now to do the substitution and no white sugar. But don't say I cannot eat chocolate. Just get the healthy chocolate and start.
But you know, it's not only the chocolate. When I go out or when I'm with friends or when I'm in a restaurant or in a coffee shop, that's all sweet, 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 sweet. Terrible.
Yeah. So commit where you really have to commit to get out of white sugar. And it takes a couple of weeks and then it's getting less because the raw sugar won't make you so addictive. And you know what is really good? It sounds maybe crazy, but if you're really cravings for sweet, eat olives filled with almonds.
Olive almonds.
Yeah. And what is another good trick when you get cravings to have peppermint? Either you get some healthy peppermint, you know, from the organic store, the little ones. Yeah,
I know
you have to first get out of the addiction a little bit.
You know, I take that peppermint, but still.
Super.
But still.
Yeah, no white sugar. You cannot have it. It's like with alcohol. If once you're addicted, you know, I saw it with so many people. It's really strong sugar.
So if I
substitute it.
If I follow these directions, how much time will it take that I can get off that addiction?
You know, if you do it seriously, you have to get out of white sugar forever.
Within how much time?
From tomorrow on, no more white sugar.
Okay.
But not like you cannot have sugar, but you go now for healthy sugar. You go now for nurturing sugar. You know, you have to give yourself a new wording, because when we say I cannot have, this is impossible to do.
Yeah, then the more you tell yourself, I cannot have, the more you want.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, don't see the purple elephant now. Don't see it. Don't see it. The pink elephant.
Okay.
We cannot. So when we tell ourselves, our subconscious mind cannot understand not. So we have to do something to the system. You know, one more thing, because that was really such a game changer for me. Many years back, Suyogi, when I came to Dr. Naram 20 years ago, and then I went frequently here to Suyogi in Berlin. She's here, the practitioner. And then she gave me a beautiful picture. So she said, when you have a glass of water and it's dirty water, but you want to have clean water, you can go and you can pour it out like no more sugar, but no one can do it. No one really can let go. This is so difficult to let go. Or you start concentrating on pouring clean water every day. And you're totally concentrated on what you put nice inside. And then it will just float by itself and it will clean. But the process is very difficult because it's not scary to put something nice inside. No? So you add now good sugars, nice hot chocolate, which will give you energy, which is and smoothing, and yeah, you concentrate more, because when we compensate, we have somehow some scarcity, and this is most in our history. So what I mostly then do with people is hypnosis, also additionally to the process with the diet. But you know, but then we need to understand why I want to have the sweetness. How can I give myself sweetness? There's so many sweet aspects in our life, and we start filling up and we start to understand. But you know, sometimes there were some key experiences that in some situations which were difficult in our childhood, for example, then someone would give us chocolate.
Yes.
And then it was all better.
Even
and then,
the dentist.
Exactly. And then it's storage. And there we have to give a new meaning. And we have to understand that there are so many ways we're having now as adults to make situations better and to experience sweetness and others. But thank you so much for being
Thank
so
you so
open.
much, Dr. Pooja, for explaining and giving me these directions. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara, for your question. Dr. Pooja, I can see that you have given us a lot of your time. It's 8:05 here in England, which means 8:05 in Germany. I know that we said we had one more question. Are you okay to take that question, or because I'm very aware that we've gone very over?
Yeah.
Okay.
The last question, yes.
It's very quick. How are you?
Thank you. Very good. And you?
Good. I just had a comment about, I don't eat red meat, but I do eat organic chicken or turkey, and I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
How often do you eat it?
Maybe twice a week.
I mean, if you eat it always depends what you want. For health-wise, if it's really organic and if it's a good quality, it's not a problem if you eat it twice a week.
But we should really get away from all meat. Is that what you were saying before?
It depends what you want. I don't know in which direction you want to bring your life to. What brought the thought in your mind that it might not be good? What were your intention to ask this?
I mean, I wanna heal myself and others. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, as a healer, it's a little bit tricky if we really want to become healers and eating meat. You know, Dr. Naram always used to say, which was really beautiful, sometimes also patients were asking him, so can I not eat meat? But I love meat. Can I eat meat? And then he used to say, you know, you have to understand what you eat. Mostly you eat pure fear. So can you digest fear? Is it really what you can eat? If you can digest it, you can have it. If you cannot digest fear right now, then you shouldn't have it.
Thank you.
So I think it's always, we have to decide what we really want, and also to observe what it does in our system. Yeah. So sometimes also people are telling me when they eat meat, they feel totally grounded and they feel so good. And so then it's their decision, and it seems for them, they feel good with it. So I think this is something really we have to explore. But definitely you cannot eat meat also health-wise, and it has to be a really, really good quality, because we all know what they do with the animals and what they put inside the animals and how poor the food often is for the animals, and all this we're eating then.
Okay,
Good.
Thank you so much for your
Thank
question.
you all so much. It was so lovely to be with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was lovely.
Thank you, Dr.
Good.
Pooja,
Thank
so
you.
much.
It's really amazing that every one of you really wants to go on this healing journey. And I mean, this is such an important energy right now for every one of us, but also for the whole community of Mother Earth, right?
Friends, we're just going to, traditionally on these calls, we rub our hands together and we send much love and gratitude. So thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Pooja. We really appreciate it.
I don't know how to see the chat.
And friends, can you raise your hand if you felt that you learnt so much today just by listening and observing? And yeah, so much. Thank you again, Dr. Pooja. I hope you have a lovely evening and rest well. Bye-bye. Okay, friends. So what we're going to do now is we're going to transition a bit now. We've learned a lot of information, and we've also heard some great tips. We're going to transition now and just sort of go within, and I guess sort of like taking what was said. So I'd like to just invite you to take a few deep breaths with me and a few minutes of meditation, which I'm actually going to ask Cece to guide that part. So first, I just would like us to ground a little bit. So I just invite you, if it feels good for you, to soften your gaze. Or close your eyes.
Mariam,
Yes.
may I have a moment? Barbara is reading what I was writing to her. It will be better to explain to her. It's still about that sugar.
Okay, sure, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barbara, you hear me, right?
I hear you, Elio.
Okay, love. What happens is we have the biome. I had everything that was said is absolutely on the money. But you're asking, I'm having these cravings that don't matter what. You're having the cravings because you're eating a lot more sugar, and the sugar is taking over the biome. So it is telling your brain and your body exactly what it wants. It wants sugar. Now, if you stop on a dime and you kill, most of it, out of the way, your craving disappears. Now, do you see what I'm saying? So what Dr. Pooja was suggesting is right on the money. Stop now. Forget about everything, because if you play with it, then it's just like, oh, I'm going to have a little bit of cocaine. You cannot stop it. A little bit of cocaine. You have to stop it. You have to hit it at the source. And all you're thinking is going to be good for nothing. If you stop it completely, the bacteria is going to die. The one that is supported by the sugar that you're eating. And is going to back off on it. You'll see, that you'll stop the craving. And the other thing is that I learned in a class: don't bring your enemy home with you.
How do I do that?
Don't buy no chocolate. Says I don't eat it now, or anything. That is, you bring the sugar that you can have, and if you have different sugars. You're not going to have any kind of sugar, that is bad for you on your house. That
You
will
know,
help.
I always tell myself a story. When the grandkids come, I need to have something.
Well, give them something that is sugar, that is not white sugar. They won't know the difference.
Beautiful advice. Thank you so much for
Thank
sharing.
you so much, Elio. Thank you.
Elio, with so much gratitude.
God
Thank
bless you.
you. Okay, friends, so I'm just going to invite you now to, I'm going to just make sure we're all on mute. Okay. So I'm going to invite you to go within now. So if it feels good for you, I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze and soften your jaw. Roll your shoulders back and down. And lengthen your spine. Place your attention on your root chakra, if that feels good for you. And then just drawing in that Mother Earth energy, or just connecting with that Mother Earth energy. That nourishing, healing, energizing Mother Earth energy, and drawing it up through the chakras all the way up to your crown chakra as you breathe in. And as you exhale, you just feel it going back down, so like almost like a circle. Beautiful flow. I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath with me, either through the nose or the mouth, whatever feels good for you, and into the belly. Inhaling and exhale. Nice and long and slow. Inhale and exhaling. Inhale and exhaling. Just lengthening the exhale, releasing. Inhaling peace, inhale. And exhale. Inhaling love. And exhale. Nice and long and slow. Last one. Inhaling light and peace. And exhale. Okay, friends, I'm going to invite not yet, but soon, Cece, to just lead us in a little bit of meditation. Oh, you're muted. Let me unmute you.
I feel you right on top of it, Mariam. Do you want to continue?
Okay. Friends, I'm going to invite you just to go into silence for a few minutes. Okay, my friends. I invite you just to open your eyes if it feels good for you. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Just gently come out. Okay, so friends, we have the lovely Esther Francis with us. I don't know if you feel ready to go into your beautiful song about We Are One, which I feel is a beautiful message.
I feel so soothed that, you know, it's kind of like in between courses of a meal. It's really nice to take a little breather. And I'm in this other room because right now construction is happening on the other side of my studio wall. And I hadn't anticipated it was going to happen today, and it's very loud. So I'm in here and not by a keyboard. So I guess I'll go. I wasn't quite sure. I will go with this song, and I'll let people know this came to me. Interesting. So Wednesday morning it would have been. I was asleep. My body was asleep, and my mind was awake, and I was getting all these lyrics. And as many of you may know, when that happens, it's like you're so immersed that it doesn't occur to you that later when you get up, you might forget them. But I got this prompt and I realized I had to wake up, get my body awake, and actually get a pen and write down. So that's what I did. And this is called We Are One, but the chorus comes from another song I wrote, which is We Are One. And I'll just give a little a cappella just for the feeling of it. Okay, so let's see if I can break out of there. We are one. I'll pretend I'm at the keyboard. We are one, we are one. The one is the many in the one. This is, okay, I'm just gonna, this is a whole new, I can't remember the tune. We are one, we are one. The one is in the many is in the one. We are one, we are one. The one is the many is the one. So that's the core, that's the root of this tree. And then what happened? I got one. We are one. The fun has just begun. Unity's the key. I remember you are me. Then we got two. We are one and we are two. A divine duet made by me and you. Three. We are one and we are three. Its divine gift is stability. So I have to give you a little backstory here because this is what I was experiencing as the words were coming. Many, many years ago, I had the blessing to attend seminars and classes with a very great being named Buckminster Fuller. I don't know, anybody hands? I can't see if I can see everybody, but if anybody knows, he was great. He created the geodesic dome, great inventor of the Dymaxion car, way ahead of his times, and amazing person who loved humanity and was convinced that we could live together in harmony with great technology. And in one of his classes, he would wear these necklaces made out of these like little rods, and then they had little balls like joints. And let's say he had 6 and he'd squiggle them around. And you know, there's all this movement, and then he'd take one out and he'd toss it right into the audience. And then we're down to 5 and he's squiggling, and he'd take one out and he'd toss it in the audience, and there's 4 parts, and he's doing this, and it's still, you know, squiggling all over. Take out that one, throw it in the audience. Stability. The 3, the triangle, no longer squiggles, no longer, it holds its shape. So with that in mind, that illustration, we are 1 and we are 3. Its gift is divine stability. So we know in so many traditions it's the triad. 4, we are 1 and we are 4, opening the season's sacred doors. So we have the east, the west, the north, the south. We have the spring, the fall, the summer, the winter. We are 1 and we are 5, creativity and love, glad to be alive. And in astrology, the 5th house is the house of creation, of recreation, recreation, and play and creativity, not only physical offspring, but of all sorts. 6, we are 1 and we are 6. Play and work, a healthy mix. And this reminds me of my favorite word, plurk, P-L-O-R-K, which I didn't make up. I wish I had. And I can't find the source, or I would credit the person. And I think of that song, you know, whistle while you work, instead whistle while you plurk. And in astrology, the 6th house is the house of integration, the house of work and health. So kind of what our previous talk here, you know, when we enjoy the good foods, when we bring in that's such a big factor in our health and well-being. So yeah, play and work, a healthy mix. 7, we are 1 and we are 7. Stairway to heaven, sacred geometry, the 4 and the 3. 8, we are 1 and we are 8. Toroidal spinning shapes, transforming to create. If anybody here, there's this beautiful visual that our energy field is like donuts, and they're called the torus is the technical name. And so, and the number 8 is the number of infinity, and it's also transformation in astrology. So that's 8, and then we get to 9. We are 1 and we are 9. 9 months in the womb to make a babe divine. 10, we are 1 and we are 10, complete and whole, ready to spiral again. So I love that we're not just the circle, but each time we come round, we start again in a new kind of round, a spiral. 11, we are 1 and we're 11, here to thrive, make earth a heaven. 12, we are 1 and we are 12, 3 times 4, it's time to soar. And then we have the sacred number 13. We are 1 and we're 13, powerful number of the divine queen. The truth is, actually on a turtle's back, I've counted them in my backyard when I've seen a turtle there, 13 sections to their shell, which corresponds with the 13 moons in a woman's cycle. So, you know, and then we've been told 13 is an unlucky number. I don't think so. Okay, and on we go, countless as we grow. Numbers are a key to sacred identity. We are one, each and every one. We're the living tree, its branches, you and me, each and every leaf, each one of us, a divine legacy. 'Cause we are one, We are one. The one is in the many's in the one. We are one. We are one. The one is the many is the one. That was a little long. Didn't mean for it to be, just came out that way. I hope that wasn't too much.
Well, that was beautiful, just beautiful. Can we rub our hands together and just send Esther so much love? So much love.
Receiving and sending right back. Thank you so much. Love you so much.
We love you too. And Esther, I know that there are many friends here. I could see by their faces that they were lighting up as you were reading your poem and singing parts. And I know it wasn't, like with whatever was going on in your house with the building works, but I know that this. It was so perfect the way that it came out, and the way that you slowed certain parts down, and the way that you sang, and the way that you read bits, and you do it with so much love. And this it's like a rose opening as you speak. It's like a rose that opens and it's like blooming and blooming as you're speaking, and it's beautiful. And I wanted to invite a few friends to share like what they felt as you were reading that poem. And I'm gonna have to go back to it because I had to pop to the restroom, and I was like, no, I want to stay. But then I know it's like a non-suppressible urge in Ayurveda, so I was like, I better go. But I will watch that bit back. I'm going to invite Leela. Would you like to share a little bit, like what you were feeling as Esther read the poem?
I was just carried away completely. Like there was, reminded me of like a bedtime story where you just get cradled in like a little wee trundle, and you're just floated through the stars, on a wee little, it was just heartwarming. It was very peaceful and loving and all encompassing, and it's your energy and your voice. It's really so beautiful. Thank you for sharing your gift. You do it every week.
Thank you so much. I'm very, very touched. Thank you. Amazing.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I can see Luke has his hand raised.
Yes, it doesn't really matter what Esther says or sings or whatever. There's always a resonance in her voice that comes through from this deep childlike innocence within her that's so beautiful. She can read from the Constitution of the United States and it wouldn't matter because there's such a beautiful resonance in the way she speaks, and there's so much joy in the depths of her being. It comes through no matter what she says. You're beautiful, Esther. I love you.
I love you, Luke. Thank you.
There's some beautiful comments in the chat. I'm actually going to just invite friends to share it. Renara is on the call. Dear Renara, would you like to share anything about what you felt when Esther was reading her poem?
I am always in heaven when I speak with Esther, or doesn't matter the subject, or she's singing, or she's speaking, or she's writing, or she's saying something. It doesn't matter even the subject. Sometimes the topic could be not very funny, but with her, it's possible to put the grain of the humor, and it just will explode, like life. So I'm absolutely agree with Luke. Doesn't matter, she can read even the Constitution of the Soviet Union, and it will be absolutely great. So joyful and playful she is by nature. I heard about Woodstock and hippie. I mean, in the very, very good sense of, of term. Only in the documentary, only by someone who experienced. But you, for me, is it the queen of Woodstock.
Oh God. I'm crying, but it's crying with joy. I have, oh my, I feel so full. You friends, the depth of friendship I feel with this community is just unlike anything I've ever felt before in community. And I've been blessed with many loving communities. So I feel like what happens is that you're like pumps, you bring out the best in me, and that we collectively bring out the best in each other. You know, it's really, I just feel like we're so blessed to have this opportunity to share our gifts. And it was funny with this piece because I hadn't planned on it at all. And that just happening, when it came through, I thought, well, that's weird. And I shared it with Miriam, not thinking in terms of sharing it with the group, but just like, you know, here, this is hot out of the oven, you know, right? Pancake off the griddle. And, you know, she suggested it, and my conditioned mind thought, oh, I don't know, might be too much and everything. And so the lessons of following the heart, trusting, and it's amazing. I just, oh, just love, love, love.
I really love, you know, can we all give ourselves a big hug? Because I love that you're doing that. And I think it is important for us to just also receive.
Gotta.
It is so beautiful to be in this community, and I feel the same. I feel like it brings out the best in me. I can see that our dear Cece has her hand raised.
You know, Esther, we love you, and
I love you, Cece. I love you. You're beautiful, beautiful spirit. You're beautiful.
I love the youth about you. That is just amazing. You're so young inside. You are beautiful inside out. I appreciate you so much. And Esther, I don't know if you realize how these songs, these poems that you read to us, that you sing to us in a basis, how healing that is. It's truly, truly one of the best things. It makes us laugh, it makes us cry, it takes us to different spaces, you know, in our different lives. And somehow we identify ourselves with what we're saying in different ways. But for me personally, I just find them so healing. And tonight in particular, when you talk about us in one, this takes me to exactly what I'm working on right now, you know, in my meditations about the oneness. Not just knowing about it, but experiencing it. I just feel what a beautiful reminder, and the way you're presenting it, I think it will be stuck with me in my, you know, during my devotion time, and I'm so grateful for them. They've got such power in them. They are healing. Please continue to do what you're doing. We love you, and we appreciate your gift so immensely. Thank you.
Oh, God.
Love you.
Thank you so much. I love you. And those words, that's a prayer of mine. And I thank the Great Spirit that moves through us, source, whatever we call that great divine isness. And that, yeah, that holy rain that's irrigating us all.
Okay. Oh, this Love Fest is just so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
gonna melt.
Friends, what I would like us to do just before we end the call, I have, if you would like to, I have a mantra that I would like to play. Let me just get the translation up. I've played it before. It's but on a different call, and it's called Ad Gare Namer, and it means I bow to the primal wisdom. The next line means I bow to the wisdom through the ages. I bow to the true wisdom. I bow to the great unseen wisdom. And actually, Patricia was the one that shared this mantra with me. Yeah, let me just see. Patricia, there you are. Patricia, are you okay before I play it, just to share a little bit about, you know, why, because I know it's a mantra that you love, and you shared it with me, and I love it too, because it just takes me to this oneness, this, I can't explain it, but I just drop right into my heart when I hear it. Patricia, would you like to share a little bit about it before I press play? Yeah, okay.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. So lovely to be here with everyone. It is definitely Holy Rain and a Love Fest. And this is what this mantra reminds me and helps me to remember that all is one and one is in all. So how beautifully said and brought together by our beloved angel, Esther. Definitely I'm happy heaven is missing an angel, that she's here with us and blessing us, and each one of us too. When I say angel, I mean that energy that is so pure and brings forth whatever it is that the divine has for us. Yeah. So yes, Ad Gare Namer is a mantra that I was blessed with when I went swimming with the dolphins, wild dolphins in Bimini, which is also an island in the Bahamas, in the year 2007. And I didn't know then, but after I swam with the dolphins, I realized that all is one, honestly. Up until then, everything was different. You know, I could identify things as individual items, people, and I knew my family was my family, but I didn't necessarily understand this concept and message from the divine that all is one and one in all. So we had just swum with the dolphins. I was so exhausted with joy. I didn't know joy could exhaust. I don't mean a bad exhaustion, you know, where you're spent, you're just lovely. So we were lying down in the catamaran in the sun, and all of a sudden our hosts played that song, and it struck me exactly at the center of my heart, and I just felt myself explode into endless pieces, and I just completely felt connected with everything. And my journey with mantras began then. And that song particularly just, it brings so much joy and fullness in me. And so thank you, Mariam. I shared with her, not knowing it will be presented here, but I am happy to share it, and please take what is there for you. For me, I love mantras because they are seed. They override language, and they just go right to the seed, which is what I like. And that is what I learned, that no need to get caught up with individuation. We just have to be one. Yes, thank you. I didn't mean to talk so much. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Patricia, beautiful sharing. And actually, I just want us to rub our hands together and just send you loads and loads of love for speaking from your heart, sharing your experience. Beautiful.
Yes, Thank you. Right back. Thank you.
Okay, friends, so what I'm going to do when I play the mantra, I am going to spotlight those of you who've got your cameras on. I invite you to turn your cameras on if it's good, those of you who turn them off, and just receive the love that we're going to be blasting you as each person comes up. The love and the peace and healing energy that's present here today, because that vibration of love is healing. When you're in it, it's healing. Okay, so let me just get ready to play. And then just give me a thumbs up if you can hear it when it goes on.
Siri Guru Deve Name Ad Gure Name Jugat Gure Name Sat Gure Name Siri Guru Deve Name Ad Gure Name Jugat Gure Name Sat Gure Name Siri Guru Deve Name Ad Gure Name Jugat Gure Name Sat Gure Name Siri Guru Deve Name Ad Gure Name Jugat Gure Name Sat Gure Name Siri Guru
Okay, my dear friends. Thank you so much to all of you that joined today. Thank you, dear Esther, for your beautiful poem, for your sharings. Thank you for Patricia, for sharing from your heart, for leaning into love and sharing that mantra with me, which I've just been sharing with everybody. Thank you to dear Elena for your beautiful heart, for the love that you're sharing. Thank you, Renara. It's always a blessing to have you here with us. You are a vessel for the divine. So beautiful to have you with us. Thank you to Katie Modio. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, for joining us today. Sending you much, much love, and I hope you come back again. So lovely to have you with us. Thank you to Clarice for joining us today. Thank you for bringing your beautiful energy with us. Thank you, Elio, for gracing us and joining us. Lots of peace and blessings to you, my soul brother. Thank you to Barbara for sharing today, for asking the questions that you asked. I know that many people have felt the same. Thank you, dear soul sister. Thank you to dear Cece for joining today, for co-hosting with me, for sharing with love. Cece for me is like so many of you, I just feel like I've known her forever, even though I haven't, like, in this lifetime, but I believe in many, that I've had many lifetimes with her and with many of you. Thank you to dear Luke, my dear soul brother. Beautiful to have you here and the energy that you bring. Thank you to Leela for coming today. Thank you, Gedre. Thank you, Nina and Sue and Robin. I hope I've mentioned everybody. Thank you to all of you that have come today, for sharing this space. For those that are watching, thank you for joining us today. We send love, we send blessings, we send peace.
And we thank you, Miriam. Shall we, everyone, to our beloved Miriam, send her that
Thank you,
energy,
Marianne.
making all this possible.
All praise be to the divine for bringing us all together. All praise. Okay, friends, I invite you to unmute and say, I love you and I'm with you in whatever language you like. Ti amo y estoy contigo.
I love
I love you and I'm with you.
I love you and
I
I'm with
love
you.
you and
Te
I'm with
amo.
you.
Я люблю тебя, и я с тобой.
I love you
Yes,
and I'm
Love
with
you
you.
and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
Love you and I'm with you, friend.
I love you and I'm with you.
Je t'aime et je suis
And I'm
avec
with
toi.
you.
Thank you all. Elena.
It is like we start with our